talk about it. Let's talk about it global. We got a very special guest tonight, very important guest tonight. You know, so let's just get to it. By the way, I'm G the Great, Richmond, VA. Y'all understand that? You know what I'm saying?
Let's tell them here.
Johnson.
Steph Johnson. Go ahead, Steph. Introduce yourself. I should have ladies first, my bad.
Johnson. My name is Steph Johnson from that side, New York. Hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it.
Word.
Royal Danger, 518. Let's talk about it.
Taylor made from VA to GA, from the 804 to the 404. Let's talk about it. Okay,
hold up. So you went last. You got to introduce Miss Karen. She can't introduce herself.
All right, then.
You won the lottery, baby.
Lottery pick. We got Miss McQueen, Miss Karen McQueen here, y'all. She's with us today. She blessed us with her presence today. Let's talk about it global. She's a nutritional scientist, a spiritual healer, among other things. So we're gonna let her introduce herself, but here she is.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. I'm glad to be here. I am Karen McQueen. I'm hailing from Richmond, Virginia, a native of Virginia Beach, Virginia. I've been in Richmond over 30-some years now, believe it or not, and I'm still not used to it. But I've made it my stay here throughout my military career and my college career here, and also built my company here. So I started that back in 1995. I am a nutritionist by profession. My business is couture wellness and beauty. It has started out dealing in just nutrition and getting people on track, and then eventually went into a diversification of spirituality, body, and nutrition. So I started integrating them some time ago, and just seeing that the need for healthy living as a holistic approach. It's not just eating. We all pretty much know what healthy food is. That's not going to get it anymore.
Right.
So we also have to know that we are duality. We're kind of a spirit carrying out a humanistic journey. So there's some things that we just have to understand to live this greatest gift on earth called life.
Yeah.
Love that.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Like, and that's deep. So like, really, what really sent you on this path, though?
Oh my, you had to go there. That's the question of the evening.
Sorry, Steph.
Like I said, I started out in nutrition. I actually started out really as a pre-law student. I always been led to help people, humanity. That's my thing. If it involves a person, you got my undivided attention. So I said, well, after being in the military and being in an adjunct court unit, which is mostly administrative, but being cross integrating with my JAG, being as how I was a future lawyer on the civilian end and the military end, I said, I don't think my conscience built for this. So I started, going into prayer, and I mean literally going into prayer. Like, I've invested time. I'm getting ready to go off to University of Richmond to pursue my law degree, and this doesn't feel right anymore. I got led to go to, going on the spirit, led to go over to my HBCU, which happened to have a human ecology department. Didn't even know what the word dietetic was or what it meant at the time. Looked it up, got into it, and said, oh, all right, I'm transferring. This is where I'm going. So now that was a big thing because...
What HBC? May I ask what HBC?
Oh, yes, Trojans, Virginia State.
Okay.
I'm
right up here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that ain't too far from us.
No, it's not.
House, I mean.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So that was a big deal because you're looking at I've invested all this into this part of education, and now this new curriculum, of course, is not going to accept majority of what I have. It's two totally different sciences. So I had to be in it to win it. I said, you know what? This is where you sent me. This is where I'm going. I don't like science. I don't like really this type of math. I'm not good with any of this in this curriculum. And I said, well, you know what though? But I'm spirit led, and that's what I teach people. So now I gotta, put my money where my mouth is. Jumped in there, came out in 3 years, Dean's List all the way. So I said, this is where I was supposed to be. Jumped in and never skipped a beat. And then realized after I got in there that, you know what, it took about 10 years of me being in it, getting my feet wet with how I wanted to, how I was going to deliver to people, especially my people, because we're the disadvantaged in this area. A lot of the things that are set up in the industry, they really don't cater to us and how we utilize and need nutrition. There are things, we're humans, but there are things that are a little bit different. So that's how I ended up crossing over. And then, like I said, I spent 10 years in that. And then I said, this is not enough. Somewhere around the beginning of 2000, I said, this, nutrition, eating right, it's just not enough. Right. And I went into, telling people, no, we're past that. That's like, this is like nutrition 3.0.
So can I lead into a question? Can I question? So I'm just throwing something out here. I mean, would you say, because I had a few questions and you kind of like answered 3 of my questions in one. All right. So one of my questions was going to be about diet. One of my questions was going to be about sleep and the importance of sleep, your sleep regimen. And the other question, more spiritual aspect. So I was going to ask, would you say like it's good to take more like a 3-pronged approach as to health and nutrition when it comes to just keeping yourself whole in body, mind, and spirit? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You just prematurely brought up my my purpose for rebranding. So in my rebranding of where the company is going, it's because after that 10-year marker, I concluded that the balance was more important than teaching people about nutrition. I could pull up a group of 3-year-olds and they could tell me what healthy food was, but they can't tell me how to balance it to speak and do what it needs to do in the human body. So that was the unique difference. After that, to go further into your to the answer for your question, I said, people are a duality, and it's like we know it, but we don't know it. We don't address it, and we don't live like we know it. So that changes the purpose, and it changes our result. So if we know that we're a duality, and we know that we are a spirit having a humanistic journey, then that changes everything. So yes, that I call that the personal trinity that I help people explore within themselves while they're on the journey. So you just hit the nail on the head. It is a spiritual body and nutrition integration.
Awesome.
That's what the rebranding does.
Awesome.
That's all right.
Yeah, That's been about 27 years in the making, but I'm here.
It's all for a reason. The circle will come.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. Even having it look at the fact that I had to put all the law behind me and move forward in that, but I didn't skip a beat, and I'm still ahead of the game. What I'm about to bring to the forefront, we're still not there as a society. So that's how I know I didn't skip a beat. I'm still on time.
I can relate to your journey somewhat. I started out as an engineering major. I went to ODU first. And that didn't work out. And Union found me. I didn't found Union. Union found me. So it worked out how it was supposed to. And I'm glad it did that way. You know what I mean? So
the Trojans and the Panthers.
Yeah, we go at it a little bit.
It's all love. All love. Miss Johnson, you was ready to say something.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, it's kind of like a statement then a question. But yeah, so um, as far as like because our people and we have a different way of like eating and like going about things, but we follow the Western approach of just medicine taking and going to prescription, and we go to I'm getting prescription. It only like solves one of the symptoms, and then later on we have side effects and all that stuff. So it's like, why is this pushed on? Like, why do you think that it's pushed on more of doing the Western approach instead of holistic medicine? Why does not more public? You know what I'm saying? Why is this like, the government has it forefront with the pharmaceutical companies, and like that's like I always had that struggle with it because when I was younger, like they'll always push medicine. They'll always go like go to the doctor, go to the doctor. But then I go to the doctor and we don't have no type of like I still have the same problem, even more because of side effects. So it's
Yep.
like, why do you think it's pushed more for Western medicine?
Western is we always go on say Western is different, and we focus from an allopathic standpoint versus what I call traditional is the Eastern medicine, because it's what we have first. I call allopathic what we have now. Some people interchange it and they'll say, well, it's traditional. Not to me. Tradition is what we originally had. We originally had herbs, our nutrients from our food. We learned how to integrate them to heal the body. We weren't superficial about speed. We allowed the body to respect, to handle what we would put in it, to integrate it on its own. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand and accept that when we put our bodies to sleep at night, we don't hook ourselves up to a machine. We don't have some coming to whomever conference over in the corner about how many volumes of blood it needs to stroke to the heart, head, liver, lungs, and all the other extremities that keep us from going paralyzed or at worst dead at night. So with that said, we know that the spirit is controlling all in there. And with that explains different agendas. The agenda to separate, to make you feel like you're not a duality, so that you don't rely on this entity as much to help you through your journey. To separate the duality again, that you might not trust the spirit as much for its healing as you would medicine, this new quote unquote traditional medicine. And so it all comes back to just agendas. I have an agenda too. And my agenda is to promote what we started out with, to give proper respect back to the body for the fact that there are things we don't do that we do lead to this duality part of us, the spirit to do, our connection with the Most High to do. And that's being disrespected when we separate and ignore the fact that it's a duality, and we take on what's being promoted. There's a part of our duality that's saying sometimes, don't do that, that don't feel right, but we've been conditioned to ignore. So in my platform, I'm addressing all of that because I want it to stop, and I really want it to stop for us, because we're spiritual people by nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we came here a different kind of way, but it's definitely to our benefit, and we just really need to reconnect and start listening again, because we really succumb to a lot of broken narratives that really don't suit or fulfill us. They're not for us in a positive way.
Absolutely.
So I don't trash medicine the allopathic way. I believe that all of our sciences have their place, but I don't agree with throwing out our natural part and our natural ability for the body to fulfill its agenda first. That's what I don't agree with.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you had something to say, Dane?
No, I'm taking everything in, man.
Oh no, so what I was gonna ask, just your opinion, if we were like really balanced in our diet, so you think we wouldn't have these issues that we having now, like as far as the cancers and the diabetes and stuff like that?
Absolutely. When I first got into nutrition, one of the most profound things that I learned in one of my freshman courses was, 3 to 5% of the world contracts, at that time contracts cancer, but 97% of us, 100% of us interact with it on a daily basis at the cellular level. That was profound, because I said, okay, wait a minute, that changes everything. Every single human being on the face of the planet is going to battle with cancer every single day.
Right.
So the difference becomes, how do you not make yourself a sitting duck? How do you not predispose yourself? That's the education that's missing. That's where nutrition comes in, and it's telling you about the fruits and vegetables and things, especially vegetables that actually target and prepare your cells not to be predisposed, not to be susceptible. So is it something that we can control? Definitely. On the subject of diabetes, there's only 3 to 5% of the entire world that has that's born with diabetes. That's type 1. So we have to look at that and ownership that we have a responsibility to ourselves, to our physical body, that we can't just and our culture is notorious for being told, oh, you have type 2. The first thing the other professional wants to ask is, well, did your family? Well, of course. But this is why. It's not because it's genetic, because I've argued doctors and say, well, I'll agree with what you say when you show me on a genetic marker where this person actually has type 2. And you can't do that. So then we're not going to go there. We're going to go back to the beginning, which is to hold the patient accountable, to teach them how to be accountable. And now they have power. They have power because they know what they really are, what they're susceptible to, and what they don't have to submit to. See, when you take that away, you're actually forcing an indirect submission, because you're making them feel like they don't have any power.
Right.
You need to just take this medicine and that's it. No, let's move you backwards, because on the pathology part and oncology thinking, if it came from somewhere, then we need to go back from where it came.
Yeah.
You need to reverse what you did to get here.
Yeah, all right.
And that's where nutrition comes in, but that's where the balance of nutrition comes in too. There's nutrients that defend and protect our body. There isn't a nutrient that you could take away that wouldn't cause a vital problem. Something as simple as it's simple and as dangerous as B6. You take it in too much, and a person doesn't know that. General public don't know a lot about nutrition, that it's actually more dangerous than any pharmaceutical they could put in their system, because the body is governed to receive it. If you give it a prescription, it's not governed to receive that. So therefore, the first thing it wants to do is reject it, because it's a foreign agent. Right. But everything else you could put in there unknowingly in an abundant amount, and before you know it, you have a problem. Because we take for granted that natural means, oh, it's safe and it's okay. No, it means it can be just as dangerous if you don't know how to balance it. B6 can destroy it'll take and destroy your nervous system if you're not careful. So this is serious. And going back to what Steph said, it's serious because if you are on the allopathic side and you are submitting to all the drugs and you're submitting to, certain fast foods and processed stuff and all that, and you just don't have your temple right, there is a cost to pay for that. But there's also, again, that agenda. And it's not to suit the person, it's to suit the situation or the entity that created the agenda.
I want to throw a little tidbit in right quick, right? I went to it was like this herb store, quote unquote herb store. And where I live, it's a lot of Hispanics.
Okay.
So it was a Hispanic run store. I don't know if it's Hispanic owned, but everything in there was Spanish. I know some Spanish, not a lot. So the lady finished with one customer and then she came around and helped me. I asked her, did she speak English in Spanish? She said a little bit. So I said, you have, now mind you, she's got all these different types of herbs and bags on the shelf, like little herbs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I said, do you have anything, that can help me regulate my sleep cycle, with sleep? She said, the truck will be in tomorrow with the pills. Just come back tomorrow. I was like, nah, I don't think I'm coming back in here. I wanted some I could put in some tea or something, you know what I mean? Make some tea and go to sleep. You try to offer
do that.
Like,
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
You do that. My thing is the fact that I'm sorry, continue.
Like, why would you offer me pills? You can sell me the herb right here. You have a sale right here in your store right now.
Exactly. And that again, what is your agenda as to why you deflected from what I asked you onto something else?
We can Google
phone. Exactly. And you know it's like, exactly. I directly asked you for one thing and you directly want to give me another. No. I don't want the pill, I want to steep it myself. I want to get the natural from it myself. I
just so happen to walk by your store and come in. You know what I mean? Won't come.
Yeah. They
but yeah,
something out here.
Yeah.
That goes back to the agenda though, because like you said, it's not always about nutrition, but then it's like the nourishing food is not accessible in the urban areas, whereas McDonald's and the fast foods are, which is going back to another agenda that we're talking. So they pushing prescriptions on you, they're pushing these unhealthy foods, and they're making the price of the healthy foods, which is like, where do you find the healthy food? There's pesticides all over it, genetically modified fruits and vegetables nowadays. So it's like, what really is healthy where we are at?
Yeah.
And why is it like this with us?
And that's the question. And that's the question. That's what's missing in this whole paradigm. That's what's missing. It's like, how do we survive these basically some of these attacks? Basically, I feel like they're attacks on humanity. How we survive them? And I used to tell my clients back in the day that because they come from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, and I would always tell them it doesn't matter where your economic status is for purchasing food. What you need to know is what food to purchase, and there isn't anything here that, to me, that the Most High has not put at a level where you can afford it so you maintain your health.
Absolutely. At a basic,
not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So becomes a matter of, again, responsibility. How much am I willing to seek to find what I need to maintain? Because one of the biggest things that are going to be helping humanity right now is herbs. Because when, like Steph said, if you have a lot of pesticides and things in your food, and you're not growing your own things, you're not going to, a farmer's market or urban farmer, so you're not getting the things that don't have what you don't want in it, then you're going to have to look for something that will go ahead and override toxicity in the system on a daily basis. I don't know of anything that can do that better than herbs. They will help override toxicity to where your body can still extract whatever nutrients that it does need from the food, because at the end of the day, that's all we eat for. And that's why the message has to be, I'm trying to get it out to where people understand it and they can receive it. They can kind of like eat it, digest it, and regurgitate it. Because if they don't understand that they can't get everything out of their food, their body's not absorbing like it's supposed to, therefore you need herbs to intervene, then they really don't understand why things like processed food and fast food restaurants, why it's damaging their system. You got the lack of nutrients coming in because the body can't extract but hardly nothing from a processed situation. And so now you got toxicity building. You don't have herbs on the balance end to help you flush what you're getting. So you just got this vicious cycle going. And it's like,
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this: what about meat though? Like I mean, because they say most meats are rich in protein. Like, where does that stand in your diet? I
I still am an advocate for animal protein. I'm an advocate for plant protein. I basically prefer that people do what their body prefers, and everybody's body don't prefer plant-based.
Exactly.
Me, having been military, athletic, trying to do a plant-based is too much of a headache for me because my body would rip through plant-based.
Yes, very fast.
The proteins are not created equal. All nutrients, every carbohydrate is not created equal. They all have different time frames that they even process and digest down into the system. You know, milk and fruit don't process the same way as a slice of bread. A slice of bread gets an hour, milk and fruit gets 30 minutes apiece. Yes. So you got to understand what you're consuming and how it's going to react when it gets into the system to know what you need to be doing. And that's why they try to cookie cut things. I'm like, give it a break. We're not in there. We're literally at nutrition and balance 3.0. You got to bring it up. You know, and we're dealing with some destitute times right here. We don't have time to be trying to play around and figure this thing out. You got to want to desire. You have to have a strong desire of what you need to, how you need to help yourself, and dive in.
That's deep. That's pretty deep.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
Did you have something to say, Steph?
No, yeah, because that right there, like with the meat part, that was a good one because I've been struggling with that just because it's like thinking about meat disrupting your frequency, and then you saying that everybody's body composition is different. It's like you know, it's giving me a thought about it. But it's like, would you say that like, okay, for like meat itself, is it like it's a low vibrational intake for your body, but then it's like
I believe that, honestly, on the metaphysical side, I believe it is whatever you say it is.
Oh, I like that.
If I say meat does wonderful for me and I can go out there and do things that I couldn't remotely think about doing with plant-based all day, plant-based is not going to carry me the distance I need to go, then I am right. If you say plant-based works for you and meat don't work for you, you are also correct. So again, it goes back to when you're working with someone like me, what's best for me? I mean, I got some athletes here that I can send out there and they're plant-based, but they've been that way all their life. See, when you start switching, you know, trying to put a Volkswagen engine in a Mercedes, we got a problem.
It ain't gonna work like that.
The body's the same way. It's like, what are you doing? But the thing is, until we change our level of respect for what the body really is and how it and what that duality relationship is, we're not going to bring ourselves to an open-mindedness of understanding that there's a lot of stuff about this machine we don't know, that we don't understand, and we really need to change that.
That's exactly what it is. Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to really change that. And we as a people, or our nation, we don't have a choice. We've been so behind and disadvantaged behind the 8 ball when it comes to all this information that has never really been for our advantage. So we've never really been at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're pulling up the rear a lot.
So
now give.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in society, though, like especially what we're going through now with the little pandemic thing, like it's really gonna be it's always been difficult mentally for people to balance, you know, their diets and everything. But like now, you see the stores lacking food and everything like that. Like it's gonna be really, really difficult going towards the future.
Yeah, and I've had clients that are concerned about it. I say, look, the best thing you can ever do. One thing about being on the planet is it's always gonna be something. And the other thing about being on the planet as a human is they always gonna figure out how to overcome. So it's like, that's basically what it is. And that's where the metaphysical side, we say, deal with the reality. Sometimes the way our minds are with all these different narratives all day long, we find it hard to get in the middle and just accept reality. The world is going through something. I'm a human on the planet. And we got so much information from past generations and histories of society that they're the reason we're here, because we found a way to overcome it. It's not about the challenge. It's about what you're gonna do with the challenge. The challenge is the food situation is changing. They're trying to integrate and somewhat even maybe make it more a controlled situation. Then you need to make sure that you are hooked up with your farmers, with your local farmers. There's a way, but where there is will, where there's a strong enough will, a way will present itself. Some of us just not strong enough in our will lately for the way to come.
This is the third example you've given that I either had a personal experience with, like either today or yesterday. Seriously, like I knew the meeting was coming, but I wasn't like planning on having these experiences. Like, when I went into the herb store.
Right.
I just stopped in there. School, you know what I'm saying? Going from the PWI to the HBCU. Now I'm gonna give you another one. You said, damn, sorry, I lost my train of thought that fast. Give me the last tidbit and I got you. Okay, we was talking about farmers. I got you. So I watched like a 10-minute YouTube video on Black farmers today, because they got Black history stuff going on all the day. And I'm in Georgia, and this guy, he was talking about like the plights of Black farmers, and how Black farmers have declined over the years, and the need for Black farmers. And I actually had one of my partners from high school. He went to A&T, North Carolina A&T, and he's a farmer now. I think that's very important. I would rather go to a local farmer or a farmer's market or something any day than Kroger or a Food Line or Walmart or whatever. I think that's you gotta really do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Support your community and your urban gardens and stuff like that. People selling fruit. There's a dude that come through my neighborhood selling fruit and veggies on the back of his truck.
See? And that's one of our origins. That's kind of where we started at. You go to a lot of Mexican, Latino, Hispanic communities, and you're gonna find the fresh produce on the side of the road every Saturday, Friday evening and Saturday. They're gonna be out there at their personal farmers market, and their people are gonna come and patronage them, and even our people are gonna come and patronage them. But they are still giving that back to the community. It's imperative that I get people to understand how much a little bit of what can go a long way. You don't have to sit in a seat of abundance of the knowledge that I do, but the part that I can give you can make all the difference in the world, because this is not a situation that's out of humans' control. Again, like I said earlier,
and Ms. Karen, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I mean, because this. But we're running out of time, right? So I really want you to get an audience of information. Now we definitely can do a part 2, because this is I'm soaking this in. This is very spiritual. This is beautiful, man. So I mean, but I really want you to get an audience your information. So your social medias, so that they can reach out to you.
Okay, well, see, there's where I'm coming up out the dark ages, right? Like I told you earlier, I said we're rebranding. They're getting ready to do the whole social media platform. So right now, everyone can get me at my business mobile, which is area code 469-386-9574. Again, 469-386-9574, and then my email is khmcqueen@gmail. Again, khmcqueen at Gmail, khmcqueen@gmail.com. Are the easiest way to get me, because for the past 15 years, I've been word of mouth only. If my referrals either come from directly from a physician's office, or they come from clients that have dealt with me and they're sending their friends and family to do business with me. So this is my first time since 2007 going back on the internet and becoming a public face.
All right, give us the name of your time, Ms. McQueen.
Hey, nah, we can set up, but let's talk about it, guys. Hey, part 2 coming. This was
and it's Couture Wellness and Beauty.
There you go.
I think that's what Taylor May asked for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Got it.
Well, it's been real, guys. I really enjoyed myself. I can't even believe the time went that quick, but I hope you guys something out.